This is a Pele Media podcast.
Welcome back to Goonies Minute, everybody. Goonies Minute is the fan podcast where we carefully explore the movie Goonies minute by minute. This is Brady.
And this is Chris.
And we are here to go over minute number 103 today with special guest Mark Landry, screenwriter and comic book author extraordinaire, who has been with us the last couple of days and is going to be with us today and tomorrow and then on Monday for 105, which is just, I think, like 2 days before the very end of this movie. So, Mark, I want to thank you so much for being a part of the show at all, but much less the finale.
Thank you, guys. It's totally my pleasure. I can't believe I'm pinching myself. I can't believe how lucky I am. I love it.
Well, it's I know it's a big thing for all of us for sure, because the Goonies has just been such an influential thing, not just on our love of film, but our lives. And I think it was yesterday or maybe the day before that you had some actual some stuff that really hit close to home, and just about how Goonies affected your childhood, not just in the sense that it would give you these fun adventures to go on, but the way that you dealt with, your people.
Yeah, it was identity. I mean,
yeah.
I think maybe I just kind of think that I did think that most people used movies to sort of formulate their identities, but I certainly did. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's part of our cultural norm, that we get
I think so.
Base our identities on our culture, like music and movies and stuff.
I think Alec Baldwin's character in, was it Malice?
Yeah, man. That's my first theater, my first acting class I took at LSU. We had to do a monologue, and of course they had us do it many different ways. I chose the I'm a God speech.
So we've got
Malice.
Strong-willed, good, determined, enthusiastic children inspiring people like Mark and myself, and then we have Alec Baldwin from Malice inspiring Chris McMahon to become the individual that he is.
So you ask if I have a God complex? Let me tell you something. I am God.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that. There you go. I love that.
That's awesome.
I'm better. You know what I'm better at?
What's that?
Many substitutes knew what it was to be roasted in the depths of the store that day, I can tell you.
Awesome.
Mark is pretty familiar with Ghostbusters, which for anybody who's not aware, that is what you're referencing.
Yes.
Many nights coming home after going, when I was going to LSU also, I'd come home after I'd been out to the bar, and I would fall asleep to Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
That's what I would, and depending on how much I had to drink that night, or how many TV sets that I saw.
How many Peter Venkmans are on screen.
If that does something to your brain, then it's fine. It can't be all that bad.
Oh no, it's good stuff.
Definitely.
But I know that we need to get back into the minute.
Let's start into the minute.
Would you like to get into this minute, Brady?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
In the previous minute, each of the families of the Goonies continued to enjoy being reunited with their children. Steph and Mouth share a moment when she tells him that his voice is kind of nice when his mouth isn't screwing it up. He jokingly responds that her looks are kind of pretty when her face isn't screwing it up. We cut to Mikey. He spots Andy coming towards him and tries to get away. She tells him that if he keeps kissing girls the way he does, the parts of him that don't work so good are going to catch up to the ones that do. Mikey smiles as she gives him a kiss on the cheek. She then walks over to Brand. The two embrace and share a kiss of their own. And thus ends minute 103 of the Goonies.
At the end of minute 102, we see Data's father try to take a picture with a similar contraption that Data had. And we've talked throughout this whole movie that Data has his own music. Mm-hmm. And you hear that music again here when his dad is about to take this picture, or actually before it messes up.
Yeah.
You hear that same music, but there's the horn the score's a little bit lower, so it's more. This is his dad. But if you listen to that music, it's the horns instead of da 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 da, it's da 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 da. It's just a little bit lower.
It's
to make a note that this is Data's family, but it's his dad, so it's a little bit older. It's a little bit lower, which I thought was really interesting.
That's brilliant.
But another cool thing is the fact that it kind of messes up. So, and this goes with the theme with Data. Data has a lot of things that work, but Data has a lot of things that don't work also, but he's continuing to try. He continues to put forth that effort, and it's like pretty soon he's going to get it. But it kind of shows how he's just like his dad. And you get this nice moment where he says, "You're my best invention, you can't hold it," and then Data's like, "You can't hug a photograph." So it's actually a nice little moment between dad and son.
Right, some good payoff there. I'm glad to see that, like, because sometimes it's very dissatisfying. What's the right term there?
Dissatisfying.
Sometimes it's very, thank you. Sometimes it's very dissatisfying whenever you get like a joke, like a sentimental moment that ends in a joke, and then it just kind of ends at that. And this movie has like little gags there at the end, but they all have a sort of a payoff.
They can have some cheesy stuff, but they're sweet too, and they're necessary.
Yeah, like even Mouth and Steph's
Steph. Like I have a note. I have a note with this: cringeworthy / cute.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of like but you know what? It works so well because I feel their embarrassment. You ever want to watch TV shows or you watch things, reality shows or things that are about to happen, and it's cringeworthy, but you can also feel yourself in that same situation, that embarrassment of here are these two kids that, have taken a little bit of a like to each other. They've been through some things together, but now you can feel Steph's kind of embarrassment because she's like having a hard time looking him in the eye. It's kind of a cute moment, but also you could consider cringeworthy.
Yeah.
As I ramble that on.
No, but
it's totally cute. He's reaching out. He's giving her the olive branch, and she's very happy to take it. But yeah, they're very awkward. And then, as with any great relationship, it's sort of the awkwardness is cut through with humor.
Yeah, definitely. Which you would assume, from those two, because they've been bickering the entire movie, so it's nice to get some. I
want to hear, your both of y'all opinion on Andy and Mikey.
Okay. Yes.
And this is What do you think? The parts that don't work so good are going to catch up with the ones that do.
Yes. What could she really be meaning there? Because clearly we're all hearing it on a level that I'm sure they did not intend. But what is she talking about?
What's not working?
Like, is he not as good a kisser? Cause
no,
he
is. That's the
point
thing.
She's making.
He is a very good kisser.
That's the part that works.
What is she talking about?
She's talking about his lungs. Because he has asthma. I mean, that's the surface level of it. That's level number one. Level number two is he'll go through puberty, and he's going to be a rock star. He'll be a Lothario or something. He'll be a catch.
No, okay. Well, I'm glad you point out the thing about the lungs, because there's this little moment right after she goes and kisses Bran where he takes the inhaler and he's like, "Oh, who needs it anyway?" and tosses it. And I've been thinking, like, what is there a joke? Am I missing something?
Those two things are linked.
That's that's the reference.
Yeah.
Okay.
The simpletons over here.
Yeah, well, that's been Goonies Minute, everybody. Thank you.
That's the ball game, ladies and
We're
gentlemen.
cutting things
Drive
short.
home safely.
Yeah.
I mean,
have a nice day.
Yeah, well, see, okay, the thing with the inhaler, that explains it for me.
Yeah, it does.
Because I just could not understand why he's like, who needs this? I'm like, well, you have asthma. That's why you need it. That's not going anywhere. What's the joke here?
Yeah.
So, thank you, Mark.
Awesome.
Sure.
All right.
I mean, I'd be inspired to miraculously heal myself, too, if she said that to me.
You know what? This kind of reminds me of the scene in Jurassic Park where Nidri loses his glasses, and he's like, "My glasses! Oh, I can afford more glasses." It's like, well, that's not the problem. The problem is that you need your glasses to see.
Yeah, right, huh?
Right. You know? So it kind of reminds me of my just wrong interpretation of the who needs the inhaler thing.
It had me too. So.
Yeah. Oh, thank God. I'm not in this alone for once.
That's right.
So do you guys have anything else for this minute?
No.
No, I don't think. I know Andy and Bran kiss right at the end after Andy tells Mikey the sweet compliment, but we'll get into what happens with that in the next minute.
Yes. Now, the next minute, I know that we kind of teased this on a previous episode. I kind of want to go over the connection between the Goonies and Stranger Things, but there is another movie that definitely is a throwback to the Goonies, and that is Super 8. Mark, what were your thoughts on Super 8?
I thought Super 8 was a great stylistic throwback and a great attempt to bring those kinds of movies back into, or bring them into today's contemporary filmmaking society or culture. Ultimately, I was a little bit unsatisfied with where it ended up, in a way that I wasn't dissatisfied. There goes the word. I use both words, Brady, unsatisfied and then dissatisfied. I wasn't dissatisfied. I was super satisfied with the way the Stranger Things ended up. And that may be a function of being able to stretch a story out and really dig deep over eight hours,
Yes.
But we can talk about, what are the mechanics of that if you're planning a story, and, I haven't really analyzed why I didn't love Super 8 as much as I love Stranger Things, but it's a good question.
Well, I tell you what, with all that said, let's come back to all that tomorrow whenever we go over minute number 104. If neither of you gentlemen has anything else to say about minute number 103, I'm glad that we went over what Andy was referring to. But do either of you guys have anything else?
That's it.
All right, cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you back here tomorrow with minute number 104 of the Goonies. And until then, this is Brady.
And this is Chris.
And this is Mark.
And we're here to remind you that Goonies
never say die.
That's good.
I guess that'll work.
Yeah, I love it.
Goonies Minute is a fan-supported podcast. If you like the show, then leave us a review on iTunes. You can find us at GooniesMinute.com, Facebook.com/GooniesMinute, Twitter.com/GooniesMinute, and at Instagram @GooniesMinute. You can contact us at GooniesMinute@gmail.com. You've been listening to a Pele Media podcast. For premium content and exclusive podcasts, visit us at patreon.com/Pele Media. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Pele Media and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/Pele Media.